Welcome to another session of What the. Today's topic of discussion is going to be building upon the previous discussions that we've had. We've spoken about merit and credit, and then subjective and objective. Today we're going to talk about naivety and ignorance. Now, these go hand in hand into the interrogating of subject matter. And when interrogating subject matter, especially in business circumstances, some questions are purposely portrayed as naivety when they are ignorant. Those questions usually are a result from, as I've mentioned before, competing technologies. For example, if I were to sell you a pair of Air Jordans, and I think there's LeBron James and Kobe Bryant shoes, and all these athletes have these shoes that have been given notoriety because of the athlete that has played the game. Does this mean you're going to be playing like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or Michael Jordan? Unlikely. Although we're going to go into it basically with a naive perspective. So, if I ask you, it's like, hey, these shoes, they're Jordans, right? And they're like, yeah. Well, even though Jordan isn't playing currently, are these still the best basketball shoe out there? And then, of course, you can say, well, Jordans are, made by Nike and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of athletes that have been utilizing Jordans, and they're actually great athletes as well. And so, therefore, the shoe must have some kind of credence for being a good basketball shoe. Now, if I went to it with an ignorant perspective, and I said, how come my Jordans aren't making me play that well? And then at that point you can ask questions and so on concerning these perspectives of, how come it's not like this, or how come it's not like that? How come I'm not scoring 25 points a game like Jordan did? How come I'm not doing the things that Jordan did when he was my age? How come I'm not doing, I got his shoes, how come I'm not doing those things? So, the ignorance and those circumstances are portrayed as, okay, just because somebody else might have certain opportunities that supersede expectations, and they have done those things, does not mean that how come these things aren't readily available, or and then going into a disbelief to where it's not is it the shoes? The shoes do play into a circumstance of athleticism. You have to have good equipment, because you can look at the Chuck All-Stars that are canvas and the rubber soles, but they don't have any arch support, and playing in those comparative to playing in a pair of Jordans, I would say there's definitely advantage. If you're gonna try and break somebody's ankles in either one of those shoes, somebody might have a better opportunity to defend comparative to from one shoe to another. So, yes, the structural integrity of one shoe compared to the other, there is a big difference. So therefore, the ignorance versus the naivety that coincide with the questions of the product and what is the best approach. And then at that point you want to say, okay, does it have good arch support? Does it have, what about my ankles? I want to make sure there's good support in the ankles and so on. What's the durability of the shoe? Is everything sewn together properly? What if the shoe starts to fall apart and so on? Have there's been any problems with that occurring? And so you can always ask those questions, and those are somewhat the naivety of, okay, what's the integrity of the shoe? But the ignorance is, am I going to score 25 points with this shoe? Am I going to make it to the NBA wearing this shoe? Am I going to get all the contracts with this shoe? That's the ignorance part, because all those questions and putting it on a shoe comparative to what is your own athleticism and how will you make yourself perform that much better in the shoe. So always remember, what are the basic principles of the naivety versus the ignorance components when approaching conversations in business. Is it going to make me do this? Is it going to make me do that? I'm going to get this out of it. Am I going to do... What we're going to do is we're going to tell you, okay, these are the specifications. This is what it does. This is what has been engineered. These are the numbers. So strictly by the numbers, not necessarily by, okay, what can it do for me? It's always what is the performance that is specific to what it is. So this has been another session of What the